Cardano hard fork events are pivotal when it comes to Cardano, the network growth, and ADA holders in general. There's been 3 recent hard fork combinator events that we've tracked on this YouTube channel. Very interesting data when it comes to ADA price. And now we have another hard fork combinator event fast approaching, just a couple of months away, the Vasil hard fork. The question on my mind, maybe your mind, what could this mean in relation to ADA price? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for cruising by. I really appreciate all of you for watching. Let's jump into the Cardano video. This is Cardano the Weekly. We've got the green boxes. They're back, and we're gonna talk about what those green boxes mean in case you're not aware. Before we do, and before we start talking about this data, the hard fork data in relation to price, I want to backtrack a little bit. I retweeted this a little bit ago. This is Big Pay tweeting. He actually tweeted this yesterday. Cardano reached 74% of total ADA staked for the first time. That's over $23 billion delegated to thousands of stake pools by thousands of delegates around the world. Staking was released a little less than 2 years ago. Look at the phenomenal, ridiculously cool growth that Cardano has seen, the Cardano blockchain has seen. 74% of total ADA is staked on the network right now. Here's a pool tool, and I'll put a link in the description. This is just where you can gather data on different pools, but pool tool basically showing that Cardano has a total stake of over 23 billion, 74.01%. If you're not staking with CCV, stake with CCV. I'll put a link in the description how you can do that. If you are delegating, I really appreciate all of you delegates out there. Let's go over to this tweet. And this tweet is what kind of gave me the idea to do this video on the Vasil hard fork in relation to price. The Vasil hard fork means so many different things, right? So outside of price, it means a lot to Cardano and to the long-term growth of Cardano. The Vasil hard fork is a couple of months away. Cardano is about to get a crucial upgrade, which is pivotal to the network's scalability plan. This hard fork combinator event should be headlining every major crypto news outlet, but it's not. You're not really hearing about it. If you're not in the Cardano ecosystem and you're just kind of out there somewhere else following other cryptos, Bitcoin, you're not really hearing about this event that's coming up. And it's a really big event because scalability, not only to Cardano is important, but scalability to the crypto space in general is important. I always talk about the trilemma, and there's different blockchains trying to solve the trilemma. One of the pieces of the 3-challenge trilemma is scalability. And so when it comes to things like this hard fork combinator event that's coming up in 2 months, this is addressing that via pipelining. And there are many other ways. I think it's 11 ways in which Cardano is tackling scalability. Don't quote me on that. It could be 11 or 12 or something, but pipelining, one of those ways. And so I just said, that's okay. ADA growth is unstoppable. And so I tweeted that, and this is it. It was this comment. Somebody said, hey, Dan, they said, hey, Dan, do you want to place another green box in your TA like you did with precious milestones? Much appreciated and curious to see if that works out again. Thanks, and keep it up, man. So it was great because I've forgotten about the green boxes, and the green boxes were basically analyzing the data, and mainly based off of timeframes and some other indicators, analyzing what took place at these previous hard fork events. So we have Alonzo, right? That brought in smart contracts. Y'all know. Mary hard fork and the multi-asset ledger that came into play for Cardano. And then Shelly, obviously, the staking mechanism, which we just looked at the data based off of Big Pay's tweet, the growth of staking mechanism. So these are the previous hard forks. And what we were doing is we're saying, and this was mainly because we were going into Alonzo. And so we had these two data points, Shelly and Mary. And we said, wow, Shelly hard fork. And it was just over 60 days is what this green box is before the hard fork. Cardano saw growth. And obviously, this is probably even like 120 days before the Shelly hard fork, Cardano saw growth. But we use the 60-day area because there's a technical indicator involved here. And that's really the 20-week moving average, this green line that we see here. And so we're going to continue using that data point as well. So Shelly, just to give you an idea, Cardano basically escaped and got separation from the 20-week moving average, right? It was a 20-week moving average cross, actually, above the 50-week moving average. So we're looking at into Shelly hard fork around 200+% gains. You can see it right there. And then Mary hard fork. If we look at this, 60 plus days right before the Mary hard fork, the same type of thing. Cardano got that explosive move of separation away from the 20-week moving average, and Cardano saw a lot of gains in this time period. We're talking around 800 some percent gains. And then so we started exploring, all right, going into Alonzo hard fork, is this going to happen again? And this is after and during we're just in this huge retracement, a huge dip of 62%, and it's sideways and it's down and it's falling, and it didn't look great at certain times, right? 60% to the downside right there as well. Touching that dollar area over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden, this is what happens. And you can actually see Cardano even falling below the 20-week moving average for a few weeks, even the beginning of the 60-some day period, right? So at the beginning of the 60-some day period, Cardano fell below, but it made its way back above the 20-week moving average and had that explosive growth those last 4 weeks or so, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles. Well, 4 green candles, and then the last 2 weeks, basically going into the hard fork, Cardano kind of fell. But needless to say, going into the Alonzo hard fork, there was an uptrend there as well. Now, just because it happened, and we said this then, just because it happened here and here didn't mean it was going to happen here, but it did happen, and it's data we were anticipating and tracking to see, because after this is all over, this is going to be really, really solid and helpful data points on the Cardano charts in relationship in price, especially as price kind of coincides with the story, the technical story of what's going on and taking place on Cardano blockchain. So here's where we are in the technical story, the Vasil hard fork, a key piece of Cardano scaling coming up. And you can see we've already crossed this timeline. And let's look real quick, because this is bothering me date range wise. This timeline it's 63 days. Okay, so each box here that you see here is 63 days. So we're measuring it based off of 63 days, and you can see Cardano's already kind of like a week or two into this 63-day period, trading below the 20-week moving average. So the only other time it was trading below the 20-week moving average, that green line, was at the beginning of this green box, this green window back here in July area. And then you can see a month in or so, Cardano exploded to the upside. And so this is kind of where we are right now. And just because it happened, this is what I'm saying, just because it happened before, it does not mean it's going to happen again. But the data is going to be really interesting to track this, because if it does happen again, it will be a 4 out of 4 times. The 4 hard fork events that have taken place where Cardano gets a price move. So what could that price move look like? I think that's probably the best next question to ask ourselves. And I want to say this, backtracking a little bit, please be very careful out there. This, again, is not a guarantee that it's going to happen. It's something that very well could, because we've seen it happen the last 3 times. But be very careful. This isn't financial advice, everybody. Be very careful with how you approach these markets. I feel like the most helpful thing I can say is absorb the data, track the data with me, but don't listen to YouTubers, everybody. Don't listen to YouTubers, especially for financial advice. But this is an interesting data point that I really want to track, these hard forks. But this is the S&P 500 index, and this is something we have to keep in mind here, because as we were really tracking everything that's going on with not only Cardano, but Bitcoin and everything, just traditional markets have been in an uptrend, right? And so if traditional markets and the world in general continue to kind of fall into some type of chaos or things get worse, we already know the story of what is going on across the world from multiple different factors. If things get worse, then that could really play into not only S&P 500 index charts that we can see continuation to the downside, but it could play into Bitcoin continuation to the downside, and obviously Cardano continuation to the downside. So we're in a different season is basically what I'm saying, and we want to be mindful of that, right? We really do. And I just did a video the other day talking about Cardano downside and Bitcoin downside and what's in play in terms of these two cryptos and crypto markets in general to the downside, what to be ready for. It could get pretty ugly. But I digress from that, and let's talk about if markets do see a recovery, a continuation of the long-term uptrend, right? And if this happens in the shorter term, what could happen with Cardano? There's a few different places I'm looking at. The 20-week moving average, obviously, right around $1.10 right now as I do the video, maybe a little lower than $1.10. The 50-week moving average at $1.62. So 50-week moving average $1.62, 20-week moving average $1.08. Those two areas are crucial. But then we have this area up here, and this is a lower high area, which will really, I think, be a more defining factor, in terms of the longer term trend of price for Cardano. What I mean by that is, yes, Cardano could see a little bit of a move, 15 to 20% to the 20-week moving average. That could happen. 50-week moving average even, $1.50, 70% move for Cardano. Now we're talking, and it's just like, okay, here we go. But still, even at that point, we have to really analyze. This could be a lower high for Cardano at this moving average because Cardano has already seen this resistance once, twice. And so it could be kind of just a short-term rally, mid-term rally, boom, rejected. So the true area, the key area, the bullish move area is this area. And what that is a Fibonacci area. And it's the all-time high for Cardano to the previous swing low, which was Cardano hitting a target in the 80-cent range, below 80 cents, but in that range. And we're looking at this retracement, this lower high retracement to this rectangle that we have here. So it's a 786. Let me adjust this. A 786 right around $1.50, or I'm sorry, $2.55. This is going to sound crazy. $2.57 to the 618 around $2.18. That is this lower high macro area to see Cardano visit. Now, this is a longer term story that's going to take a lot of time to watch play out. But this could be the move where Cardano in the coming weeks or months could see happen going into the Vasil hard fork. And this is if I would say crypto markets in general are bullish and moving to the upside. And we have to take that into account because pretty much every hard fork move that Cardano got previously, the increase in price, markets were moving, right? Pretty much to the upside. Whether we were getting out of the COVID swing low, markets were moving, or entering the bull market, November 2020, markets were moving. Either way, markets were moving. I will say this, Cardano during these times, and I don't have the exact data, I'm just saying if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure the data will back this up, Cardano outperformed most during these uptrend times. So if there's an uptrend time coming for crypto markets and it runs confluent with this green rectangle that we are in right now, this would be the play. This would be the move for Cardano to the upside. And I think going into Vasil hard fork, I think Cardano has a huge opportunity to outperform, similar to how it did in the previous hard forks back here in those previous parabolic moves. So will it happen? We will track it. Time will tell. You all know me. I'm prepared to the downside and the upside. We're tracking a bullish case here, a bullish scenario for Cardano. Whether or not it happens, I do not have any idea. We're going to watch it. We're going to see. I can say if we look at this, and there's that green box. Let me delete that for a second. If we look at this on the short term, this is Cardano on the daily chart from the swing low that we put in March to swing high, coming back down to the Fibonacci that we've been tracking in our videos. And so right now you can see this daily candle wicking off of the 786 at around 87 cents. Today it happened. There's still an hour, 24 minutes of the daily candle as I record the video, but this happened today. So we want to continue watching for this kind of fail-safe support area for Cardano as it is trading below the 50-day and 20-day moving average. We want to see a continued bounce here, but so far we're getting it. If that continues, we got to monitor. We have to see. We want to see Cardano get and escape this Fibonacci to the upside. And really in doing so, because the 50-day moving average is so close to that, right around 97 cents right now, Cardano could be getting right back above that 50-day moving average and seeing continuation. Remember, this could be a higher low for Cardano off of this previous swing low in March. So higher low, support, bounce. And that could play into the case for the Vasil hard fork move to the upside if it happens. This is speculation, everybody, but very interesting data nonetheless to track, and we will certainly be tracking. Let me know your thoughts below. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.